Fantastic. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks. So with me today, we have Riccardo Zacconi, the CEO and co-founder of King.com, which, and first, just a couple notes about who this company is. They started back in 2003, I believe.
Yep.
In Europe, building casual games, and within a couple of years, recently, they have become the 5th largest developer on Facebook, and the 2nd largest game developer by daily active users behind Zynga itself. So they're now pretty much officially the Zynga of Europe. And Zynga is, in fact, if I'm correct, launching games that are not that different from your own. Is that right?
Yep.
So just tell me, how did that happen? How did you become the Zynga of Europe? What was the process over the years where you saw the opportunity in Facebook, but
Sure.
you were in casual gaming first, just online games?
Sure. So first of all, we don't consider ourselves as the Zynga of Europe because we actually are focusing on a global market. The US is the largest growth market for us at this moment in time. And we are very strong in Europe, of course. Coming back as you were saying before, we started a long time ago. We started in 2003 with casual social games. Our model was to develop games like puzzle games, match 3 games, where you would play with other people in competitive tournaments. And we've developed over the years more than 150 games in 14 languages. And we saw that Facebook was growing like crazy. We tried a few things. And we launched on Facebook in April of last year. And we went from basically 0 users on Facebook to now around 12 million daily players and 50 million MAUs, or monthly active users. But I think what makes us special is that we are one of the few companies which has a large pool of games, which are...
It's like 150, right?
Yeah, and so we're not launching all the 150, and it's a hit-driven business. Some of these games are very good, some others are less good. We launch around 80 new games per year. But the games which are really good, then we bring those games to Facebook.
So just tell the audience a little bit more about like the types of games, the gameplay, like why people are so into it.
Yep. Our most popular game is a game called Bubble Witch Saga, which is a game, it's a shooter game. You shoot on bubbles, and the bubbles are attached to the ceiling. And when you build bubbles, 3 bubbles of the same color, these bubbles explode and trigger other bubbles to fall down. And if these bubbles fall down, they fall down in calderons. So it's a mix with a pachinko game and a bubble shooter. And you collect points. You have more than 200 levels. You play with your friends. You see your friends on a landscape. And if you want to pass your friends, you have to pass every level. i.e., you have to reach a minimum score at every level. And this allows you to get to the next level.
And how do you make money on that?
And we have three models. It's like a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
The base is players who will never pay. And this is the majority of players. They are monetized through advertising. Mm-hmm. The second layer are virtual items. So when you play to complete this journey, you have 5 lives. When you finish your lives, because you haven't managed to pass the level and you lose a life, you either invite your friends, or you buy new lives, or you watch an ad. Mm-hmm. And the top of the pyramid are gamers who are very good, VIP players, very intense players. They like and further excitement, and those players are invited to compete against others in tournaments.
How much are you making off of these users, like per user? What's the revenue looking like there?
Well, I can't disclose the detailed numbers because they're, of course, very confidential, but I can say that we are growing very profitably on all platforms, so both on the web and on Facebook. We are profitable since January 2005. We raised money in September 2005, but haven't touched a penny. We bought a company recently out of our cash flow. So we are growing well.
So who do you look at as competition right now? Because there are a lot of casual gaming companies out there. There's Wooga in Europe. There are a bunch of younger guys like Peak Games that are in Turkey that are sort of carving off the Middle Eastern market, for example. Yep. Zynga is obviously getting very aggressive. Who are you looking at right now? Well,
I first have to talk about our targets. Our target is to become the leading casual social games company across all platforms. So we see today that there is a big opportunity.
So Zynga is the target.
But they are not doing it yet. Yeah? So they have different
They
games.
just launched a bunch of casual games right after. It felt like after watching you guys grow.
Yep.
To some degree.
Yeah, and there is a big move now. Basically, casual games are very popular. If you look at the top 10 games on Facebook, today 6 out of the top 10 and 7 out of the top 11 games on Facebook are casual games. A year ago, there was only one casual game on the top 10. And if you look at the games which are popular on mobile, the top 10 games, the top 9 games over the most paid downloaded games were all casual games last year. So I think that the opportunity is there. The opportunity is in building a game which you can play wherever you are. You can start playing the game on your computer. You can continue playing your game on your mobile or on your iPad, wherever you are. And casual games are a very good format because it's perfect for the snack bite utilization when you are on your mobile. But you can also play it for many hours when you're on your iPad or on your computer.
What's the demographics of these? Is it mostly young people, older people, men, women? Break that down.
Yeah, it's mainly female, over 25. The core group of, let's say, heavy players is 35, 45. But we have around 70% of players which are over 19 and female.
Over 90?
19, 19.
Oh, 19.
Over 19 female is the largest group.
Okay, and just like how do you were telling me earlier that you have like how many games on your portal on your website?
We have more than 150 games.
So you just go through, right, and you see something that's doing really well there, and then you move it onto Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you move it on? Like, how do you say this is going to be the right game for Facebook? It's going to resonate with users. It's going to have the right social hooks, where they're going to want to play with their friends, right, rather than just playing on their own.
We have standardized the process, meaning the process is we launch 18 new games per year on King.com across Europe and the US. We have about 12 million monthly uniques there, so it's more than a test. Out of these 18, we identify which ones are the best games, and then we pick 1 or 2 of these games, and these games are then made to social games, putting around a social wrapper. So this means we go to one of our game studios and we tell them, look, this game is a proven game. Please, instead of one level, build now other 69 levels to launch. And then during the lifetime of the game, you build more than 200 levels. Don't change the gameplay. The gameplay is really good. We know it works. You can, however, add additional complexity to the game by building these levels. And then you put this game in a landscape, in a social context, where you see your friends, where you can progress along this landscape. And you don't have to touch anything here. Here we have developed a platform where all the common features are integrated in the platform. This means that only 1% of the code needs to be changed for common features, like the Facebook login, the invite your friends, the postings, et cetera, which allows us to have a very not only fast and high-quality process, but also to share knowledge in the code rather than just by talking to people at the coffee machine.
So there's been this sort of a thread of criticism over the years as social games have grown, that they exploit users, that they trick them into paying, that they taking advantage of kids maybe or older people who don't fully understand what they're paying for all the time. How do you respond to that?
You can play. First of all the games are free. If you always have the choice to come back tomorrow, if you don't want to pay, to watch an ad, so you don't have to pay, or to invite your friends. So if you don't want to wait, you don't want to watch an ad, then you can pay. So you don't have to. If you're a kid,
people get addicted after a while. They want to beat their friends, and then they realize
actually,
they're spending like $20 a month, right?
If they're very good, they actually don't even have to pay because then they can pass all the levels.
Most people aren't very good, right? So.
Yeah. But it's a model where when you have many players and they pay a bit, then it accumulates.
Sure. Just looking back at the industry right now, Zynga took a lot of heat for buying Draw Something. At least took a heat from a lot of public investors. It hurt their stock price. One of the things that contributed to their stock declining. Did you think it was a smart deal? Draw Something. It's this mobile game. It felt like it's lost users after they bought it. It had been this cultural phenomenon for a few months.
I think Zynga is a good company. I think that they are doing strategic moves. And they're not thinking basically driven by the capital markets. They're thinking what is right from a business perspective. So they need to fill this gap on mobile. So Draw Something had a lot of users, was growing very fast. At that moment in time, I believe it seemed to be a right choice. So, 200 million.
But you think it's ultimately not the right choice?
Well, you have to consider the decision has to be the right decision at the moment when you take the decision. Then, of course, afterwards, you're always more smarter. They got a lot of users. They can probably retarget these users. So
they have a TV show now or something that they're working on around Draw Something.
I
don't really understand
I cannot judge their strategy because they will know it better.
Sure.
But
well, so that's a mobile game. How are you looking at mobile right now? Because that's historically not somewhere you've been as focused, right?
It's the next strategic focus for us. We have all the Saga games in development as mobile games. We are going to launch a game very, very, very soon, Bubble Witch Saga, in a mobile format. And we think that because of our experience with casual game, we have a core competitive advantage there. And we want to propose these games in a new format, something which others have not done so far. Which is,
what would that be?
Well, it's the fully synchronized play. There is no one today where you can start playing on your computer, you buy your virtual items on your computer, and you go to on mobile, and you find the same virtual items on your mobile, and you can continue in your progression exactly where you finished.
Kabam is doing that. I think there's...
Sorry?
People are starting to explore that, right? Kabam is doing that. Zynga's sort of starting to get in there.
But where you can buy when you can continue with all the items, where you have bought you have to start either you have to start again or you don't have the virtual items.
Some people are doing it, but they're not the largest ones.
Not in casual.
On casual, maybe so.
Not in casual.
So it's going to be native apps. Are you focused on iOS?
Yeah. iOS and Android.
And any particular target markets? Is it the US? Is it Europe?
Europe and US, first of all. Yeah.
And how are you looking at Facebook integration with this? A lot of developers are using Facebook now on mobile. It looks like Facebook is helping people get users and retain users, but it's so new where it's not clear if it's helping them monetize or if Facebook is monetizing. Are you going to just plug in people's Facebook identity networks into these applications?
We see Facebook as the connector between the different experiences, between the mobile experience, and the tablet experience, and the canvas or computer experience. And so for us, it's central. I think that Facebook, through the changes they have made, so that is the most downloaded application on your mobile is Facebook. More than 50% of iOS and Android users use Facebook on their mobile. And when you click on it, you find. If I have a game which is popular on Canvas, i.e. on the computer, automatically the game will be listed on your mobile phone. So it resolves the problem of discoverability.
And so, you're going up against Rovio, Angry Birds. There's some very established competitors in mobile who have done things quite differently from your world, right? They wouldn't. I don't know if they're casual games, very broadly speaking, but they're not sort of the bubble click shooter type thing. What's the biggest risk that you see with doing that? And with trying to take it's kind of a different medium.
I don't see any risk. I don't see any risk because for us it's all accretive. We take the same games, so from that perspective, I believe it's low risk if a game works on your computer and it works on a screen and it fits in the screen very well. But it's a strategic step for us, and so it's.
Windows? Are you building for Windows?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
What would make you do that?
What will make us do that? I think that once it's all about how big is the opportunity. If the opportunity is, if it's a big opportunity in terms of reach, then we will do it.
Okay.
So.
But when would that be? I've seen the Windows market. It's growing some. The Windows mobile market.
Well, I think for us it's important to go one step after the other. First, I want to put a tick in the box
so
after iOS.
iOS first.
iOS and Android. And then we will see. We also have other markets like Japan, which I think is very interesting in terms of growth for mobile casual games. So
and then you'll go public next year.
We have not triggered an IPO. So we may go public. Certainly, if we execute on our plan, we have the option, or we will have the option to go public. But we have not triggered this process. We are only structuring the company, which is part of the natural exercise of growing. So you always have to restructure and make sure that the company is fit for the future. But we are structuring the company in a way that we can go public if we decide to. So from a legal compliance perspective and a reporting perspective.
Perfect. Give him a big hand.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks.